All right, so this is part two. We're doing a really bougie setup with Zoom. So we're gonna cut it up into parts, I guess. But yeah, so this is continuing off of part one. Uh, so what I improved like this past off season was it was really trying to get myself back. It was trying to like find myself on the field again and gaining that confidence. So I went back to my roots of trying to go back to of going back to driveline and really just trying to like find me. Working on like what do I want out of my career. Just trying to. It was more mental than anything. I think the physical kind of took. I wasn't worried about that because I knew I was willing to put in the work, and I've seen a huge like improvements all around. But it's more mental out of everything. It was more trying to navigate some stuff in like my own personal life and then navigate stuff on the field. And I think those two things kind of go hand in hand of trying to grow myself mentally and just experiencing a new thing of moving up to Seattle and meeting new people. And I think that directly correlates to baseball. And then, but as far as the physical side of things, I think one thing that I really wanted to try was I remember in high school I threw really hard at around the like 185 weight, 190, and I always thought that maybe if I got stronger and gained more weight, that I would throw harder and more consistent. But I think that and I'm not saying this works for everyone, but that's a mindset that I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can do that. So I remember when I first went up to driveline, I weighed in around, this was around like June, early June. I was around 205 to 208, like around that range. Now I'm around like 189 to 192, and I also dropped 5 to 6% body fat. And my strength numbers went up, and my velocity went up, and all my metrics went up. They improved, and that's something that I really credited to just me, my diet, uh, my workout schedule, and just like everything. It's amazing how when you're consistent with stuff, how it can just improve, and that's kind of what happened to me honestly this summer. I was not expecting it to be that fast, but it was great, and I wasn't expecting my numbers to be up like they were. And when I say numbers, like this is like force plate stuff, like of course velocity, like pogo hops, like how explosive am I, how elastic am I. So it's all that stuff, and all that stuff is up. So that's kind of what and then now it's kind of a trial and error process of like, what if I drop even more weight? So I think I'm probably gonna go down to 185, 190, that range consistently, and kind of see how my body feels. And then in like 3 weeks, I'll test it again, all the force plate stuff, to see how my body reacts to it. And yeah, and then it's that trial, and like if I improve, I'll stick at that weight. If I don't, then we'll figure it out then. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about, or what I did this past off season. So now, geez, there's like all these different bugs here that are just pissing me off. You should see this. I'm like looking at all these different bugs that are on my window. But so what what sort of things do you guys utilize to get better? Like, do you guys use technology? Do you guys use other things? I know, Spence, we were talking about some things that you guys use at San Jose State. So why don't we start with you, and then we can move on to Julian. I'm going to kill these bugs really quick.
All right. So yeah, most of our technology wise that we were doing is we have TrackMan. We put a TrackMan on mostly every inner squad, some bullpens, just to get our numbers, velocity, your spin rate, your horizontal break, everything like that. And then we also take videos of ourselves every outing, every bullpen, which is actually really nice because I like to see how my body is moving and how I feel mentally and how it looks and how I thought it looked, but now I can see, oh, it looks a lot different. So just knowing my body and how it works, that helps a lot. And that's really all like the technology we use. And with like, we also have like scouting reports, but like that's kind of off topic. But yeah, that's what we use.
What about you, ESKRIDGE? Because I know most you're muted, by the way. Um, most of the, I guess most of the technology, if you use any, would be a PFA because I'm guessing ELAC doesn't have a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, they had metrics, horizontal, vertical, stuff like that, spin rate. But I'd say probably the biggest things is just taking video of yourself. I'd say, like Spence was saying, like I may feel like I'm really getting into my hip, but at the same time, my leg might actually be open. So I'd say um video is probably the biggest thing I use at my school. Just radar guns right now, but maybe get into Rapsodo at some point, hopefully. But yeah, video is probably the biggest technology I'm gonna be using to further my game hitting and pitching.
Yeah, like for me, I've kind of gotten, granted, I'm very grateful that I have access to some amazing technology on a daily basis. Um, I think video is good when I didn't have access to that, but now just studying all this different stuff, I realized that mechanics don't really, like, what are good mechanics? Like, what is that? I feel like that's different for each person. For me, when I did like my motion capture thing, when they put like a bunch of sensors on you, by the way, really awkward process. I'm just in my underwear and throwing in front of people. So, I was showing off a little bit, but um, but yeah, so uh, based off of that data, I realized that when I saw improvements with my velocity, my movement quality actually got worse. So all my metrics went up. I was a better athlete per se, and my how I moved got worse. So that made me think, it's like, okay, well, mechanics aren't everything. I already knew that. But if you look at a guy like Brutzar, Gratterall, or Brutzar, or whatever, like, he's different to how like Tristan McKenzie throws. They're two different body types, two different. Same with like how us three throw. We're both. I think me and ESKRIDGE are more similar. Casey's very different. Um, and I think something that I realized was, rather than think about mechanics, and granted, I still do think about mechanics, but it's not the end all be all. I'm more just trying to kill myself in the weight room right now and just try to get stronger, because it's also very early in the off season for me. So I'm trying to do that, and then progressively like try to throw harder in January, February than right now, because right now it doesn't matter. And for me, that's getting stronger in the weight room and doing like an accumulation phase in the weight room. And yeah, that's kind of where my mind's at, honestly. It's all kind of confused. I'm all kind of confused as far, but it's usually just making sure that I'm keeping track of all this data that I'm getting from the motion capture report that I get from like all those sensors, and then keeping track of all my force plate numbers, and to see if I'm actually improving. So those would be the top two things right now. And then I'll transition when I'm working on more a pitch design focus, transitioning into utilizing TrackMate, utilizing Edgertronic, utilizing I can name 1,000 things depending on what I'm working on. Let's say I'm working on trying to get more behind the ball, utilizing Clean Fuego, utilizing there's just a lot of different things. So it kind of depends on the season, but right now I'm just more focusing on the weight room side of things, and so force plates would probably be the main thing that I'm working on. Now this is an interesting one, because I feel like we're very different when it comes to this. How do you get your mind right for competition? So like, let's say game day, right? It's your start day. How do you get your mind right? What does your routine look like? And yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because I think we're very, very different when it comes to this. So Jules, why don't you start us off with that?
So I feel like ever since about sixth, seventh grade, I've always started, no matter what game it was, with a prayer. But I feel like having dealt with what I've dealt with in the past, I feel like it's become an even bigger factor. I feel like before every single game I pray, and I feel like the biggest thing I ask for is just confidence, and then just basically fearlessness, like with whatever I'm doing, so I can be mentally locked in to attack every single batter, and not be worried about what's going to happen. And when I get to the field, routine would probably be, roll it out with a foam roller, get loosened up, stretch a little bit, hit some bands, and then probably get some long toss in. But the biggest thing is definitely the mental game, because like Spence was saying, it's definitely, I'd say, 90% of baseball, because if your mind's not right, then your body's going to follow suit, and let's just say it's not going to be pretty. But yeah, that's my routine.
Yeah, my routine's definitely changed since high school. In high school, I was more of a prevalent starter, so I was starting like I had my days when I was starting, so I had more of a routine, and it was just kind of like wake up and just know today is dedicated to this one thing, and that's starting and doing however good I can that day. So my whole day would be just like kind of in the mode, like kind of just mentally preparing myself. Like Julian said, I'd often just be like, if I'm finding myself anxious or anything, just be like, say a prayer and just ask for just like, your preparations, you know what you've been doing and you're ready for this moment, and it's not bigger than what you think it is. And transitioning into college, I definitely feel like my mentality has changed. Just understanding the game is a lot different than what I thought it was. It's and just also remembering that like the moment, you make the moment a lot bigger than what it is. It's at the end of the day, we're playing a quote unquote kids game, and there's a lot of things going on in the world that are a lot bigger than what we're doing. And at times on the mound, like myself, like the baseball is just everything, and like it's just like my life is revolved around baseball. So it's good just to like understand sometimes, like like it's not end all be all. Like I don't throw a strike right here. Like it's like I'm gonna do my best, but yeah, I just had to understand and learning how to deal with failure and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's where the environment comes in too, right? Because
Yeah,
you have a staff that's supportive of that and understands that. Um, I feel like you perform better on the mound. Like I think
definitely.
instead of trying to not like if you don't throw a strike here and you get reprimanded for it, you kind of like your brain instinctively just like puts a defense mechanism up so you can't perform at your best.
Yeah,
I think that's so crucial. Like I know me and ESKRIDGE were talking about that, where that's where the environment comes in. I think Spence, I think from what I know, you've been very fortunate enough to have that where if you fail, if you do well, the staff is still going to treat you the same.
definitely.
And I think that's really, really crucial for competing at a high level. I thought I'd just add that in there. For me, so when I wake up on start day, I take some metrics of, I have a Whoop band that I track a bunch of different metrics on, see kind of how I slept, so I get kind of a general idea of what I got to do. Do some stretching before just to activate the body. Then try to get at least, like, let's say I have a start day and the game's at 7. Try to get try to get at least 3 meals in, or like 2. I would probably say 2 meals, and then like a snack before the game. And then yeah, when I first get to the field, my routine has changed a lot over the years. Now it's more just trying to, when I get there, maybe do some foam rolling if I really need it, and then be doing like a dynamic warm up that should take around like 10 to 15 minutes, with the goal of getting loose. It's not mobility, it's not stretching, it's just getting my heart rate up. Then after that, do some J bands, use a shoulder tube to just kind of get ready, get my arm ready. Then do kind of my plyo routine. And this is kind of where I'm unsure of what to do, honestly, right now. So I'm going to try to test it, or test it at driveline and see what I like, what I don't like. I used to do a whole entire long toss routine, but in my mindset, it's like, why would I utilize a bunch of my energy on my warm up rather than utilizing that for the game and the workload for the game? So I think I might just start like doing that athletic throws from like 90 feet, act like I'm a shortstop, and then then transition onto the mound, throw like until I feel good, and then hop on the bump and go throw some shed. And that's pretty much the mindset. And then when I'm on the mound, like I just, when I'm at my best, I'm very, very calm, but I'm also very, very, very aggressive. So for me, I throw better when I'm angry, or when I'm pissed off. That's just when I show, when I tried being relaxed. I tried, that doesn't work for me. Like I have to be pissed off about something. So something that I do in my warm up that is try to think of something that like really gets me mad, or really pisses me off. I know, like when my senior year, something that really made me sad was the passing of my grandfather, and kind of the transition to like the stuff leading up to that really affected me, and I took that onto the field and utilized that as motivation and aggression because I wasn't necessarily angry about that, but it just kind of helped me get into an aggressive mindset. Um, Now it just kind of varies. I just pull things from my life that um just have affected me. uh and yeah, like I think that's more the main thing, like what Julian said. It's more of the mental aspect of competing, switching from regular life to you have to compete and you have to dominate. That transition for me is kind of something that I'm still trying to figure out, which I think everyone is, but that's what I would say is my kind of routine right now. How do you overcome obstacles on and off the field, and still compete at a high level? How do you guys have a you guys meditate? Do you guys do other things? Do you guys just kind of block it out? Um, Whoever wants to start first, you guys can start.
You want me to go? All right. Let's see. Things I handle with failure, I kind of just going back to what we were talking about earlier. I think prayer is a big thing in my life. If I have any problems, it's just like put it in God's hands, and that's really all I could do. Most of the time it's bigger than ourselves, and we just have to understand that. And just like what I was saying before, like I forgot who I heard this from, but they're just like, when I'm on the field, I can't let my performance dictate how the rest of my day is gonna be. Like life's short, you got to understand that. Just like there's a lot of things that happen, and you can't just let a bad outing ruin your whole day, because there's a lot of things that can make your day a lot worse. And I just kind of put that in perspective, and it makes me feel a little bit better about my thing.
What about you,
And
Esther?
then similarly, I'd say definitely meditation and prayer. I say to get through last year, that was a huge thing I do, like because like Pop says, like the environment just wasn't ideal for me. So like before every single practice, just like to prepare for the coach, prepare what was going to happen, I would have like a 5 to 10 minute meditation, and then a prayer every night or a prayer before, whatever I needed to do. But now with things being easier, I still use it. I meditate. I'd say prayer is huge, just trusting God, believing him, asking him for what you need, and then just asking him to help you grow, I say, is a huge thing. And then I'd say even like reading the Bible is huge, and just doing anything to elevate yourself, just bring more positivity and peace. So you can just like really put things into perspective and see, like Kay said, it's not end all be all. And you got to be able to differentiate between, your regular life and the field. And yeah, I'd say those two things help me out.
Yeah, I know for me personally, meditation is something that I've been doing for a while. I think since I was probably like 15, 16. The past year, I honestly haven't been meditating as much, just because life gets in the way, and sometimes it kind of slips your mind. But I'm starting to get back into it the last couple of months. But like right now, like I'm starting to get into journaling, which is something that I never really have done before, and something that I kind of want to explore more, and kind of just write my thoughts down. I like reading, so like reading books, like self-help books, or even stuff like where it's just kind of just like a blog or something that helps me kind of calm my mind and put me in a very focused state that kind of helps me transition to baseball. I was. It's interesting that especially you, ESKRIDGE, because I don't think you were as religious in high school as you were right now, and maybe that's something I should explore. Take something from you. I was raised Christian, so but maybe I should try that. Maybe that'll help, and I'll definitely try that and let you know. But I'd probably say those things. That's something that I'm really trying to learn honestly right now, to try to balance like life and what's on the field and what's off. But no, that's great to hear, that you guys have that figured out, or at least somewhat figured out. And then kind of lastly, like what is something that you guys have learned this past year? Just with anything, with baseball, with just kind of honestly in general, that maybe can affect baseball. Either you guys can, we'll go with ESKRIDGE.
Yeah, I'll take it first. I'd say, like, speaking on bringing a bunch of things together that I said earlier, you really just can't take this game for granted. I mean, you know, I considered not playing after last season. I never really took it seriously in the past, and just like growing up and like the level of difficulty just increasing, and like just being at the junior college level where it's, or any level, it's, you can get cut at any time and your career could be over, you know. It's really just make the most of it. And not only that, but you know, if you love it, you should do anything for it. So that's same thing applies to baseball, you know. If you truly do think you love it, you truly do want to be in the pros, then do absolutely everything you can to get that done. Because if not, you're going to be sitting in regret saying, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, or just speaking false things, saying, oh, my career didn't take off because this happened, my career didn't take off because that. Like, no, like, take things into your own hands, even if that means, you know, taking a chance, you know, leaving your 4 year, picking up, I only pitched last year, you know, picking up hitting again, you know. At the end of the day, when it comes to baseball, life in general, you know, do what makes you happy, do what you love, because I feel like, you know, that's really what's going to motivate you. Because if you don't love it, then you're not going to have the same dedication, work ethic, whatever to it. So yeah, just follow your heart, trust your gut, and, you know, do everything that is in line with your goal to make it happen.
What you, Spence?
So yeah, it's happening kind of when you were saying earlier, like how you like to read. I was never a really enjoyer of reading. But now we are reading this book called Heads Up Baseball. And I just think by just tapping into this one book, it's opening up my mind to so many more aspects of the game and just life itself. Like there was this one chapter at the end of it, it asked a few questions. It was just like, I don't want to look back on my career and say, and then said fill in the blank. And just like putting that in perspective. And another thing was like, if someone told you this was your last season of playing baseball, what would you do differently? And it's just like, this could be my last, like no one knows what's going to happen in the future. So like just having the mindset of this, you never know what could happen. And this could be my last season. This could be my last practice. And like, it could be taken away like that. That realization kind of just helps me like, okay, like let's like shape up. Like it's gonna, you don't want to waste this opportunity that you're having, and you need to make the most out of what is given to me right now. And just tapping in more just mentally, and just like how every day you're not going to have your best stuff, and you have to understand that. You have to understand that there's going to be your green days, your red days, and your yellow days. Like, you just have to understand what, you know, your body. And then what Pop was saying about journaling, that's something I've been doing too. And it's just honestly just makes your life feel more structured. Like you just have like, all right, today this is how I felt. What can I do? And like when I look back on a week, why did I feel so good on this day? And like be able to look back on it, and just it's helped me a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, like I totally agree. It's interesting because that Ken Revisa book I think is a great read, and I think he came out with a new one, didn't he? Like a part 2.
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just blanking. So something I learned this past year was always trying to prioritize your mental health. I think that's such a crucial part in the game and in life in general. I think that's something that I kind of took for granted this past year, and I'm kind of seeing the repercussions of that, and now focusing on it and trying to be the best person that I can be really kind of motivates me, and just trying to be grateful all the time for things that I have, be grateful for experiences that I have like right now or in the past or stuff that I have planned for the future. I think is super, super crucial, and it makes you happy and it makes you content. Um, and that immediately translates to the field. If you're remorseful about things, or you regret, like what Eskridge was saying, regret like not working hard, you're going to see that in your performance. But if you know that when you're on the mound and you've worked extremely hard, you put your life into the game, more times than not, you're gonna perform at least perform at your best for that day. You might not get the results that you want, but you would be confident enough that you prepared the best that you could. I think that is a very, very powerful mindset to have. And I think it all just leads back to mental health. So I would probably say that, and that also helps with life too, with everything. So probably say that. But yeah, do you guys have anything? Do you guys have any questions that you think would be helpful for like let's say you're talking to Isaiah and he asks you a question about, or just any kid, about life, about baseball, about navigating like life and baseball. Do you guys have any questions or stuff that maybe you could all respond to that could help?
I don't know if it's a question per se, but I just think it's more like a realization. I don't know about you guys. I've probably familiar, like similar feelings, but like just looking back on like high school and those travel ball days, like even though sometimes those weren't the best times baseball wise, like but looking back, like it was such like a fun experience. I'm so glad I had like to go through all that, and like that those hardships that we all went through, those high school moments, like those just shaped us who we are, and like that was the fun part. And I'm not saying college baseball is fun. It's very fun. It's just it's a different game now. It's just like you're diving deeper into the game of baseball. You're not just like having fun with your friends anymore and playing baseball and competing. Like I'm still having fun with my friends, but we're just like competing for something. Like now everyone's here for one goal, and that's just to win and to get to the next level. High school, you have those people like that aren't really like gonna play. Like they're just here that's what makes it fun. I just think like taking every moment you have with like what you're saying, just being grateful for it. I think that just is going to help your career and just life overall.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's amazing to see the people that we played like at LaSalle with and what they're doing. Because there were people that were serious about the game, and then of course there were people that were not, and just wanted to have it. But that's kind of the fun thing about it. I think you don't really get that in college baseball. Like what you were saying, everyone is going for a certain goal, and that goal is to be the best. And honestly, if you're not performing, you're not going to play. So I think it's more of a job than anything. But like if you love it, you love it. But no, that's interesting that you found that, because COVID taught me that too, to be more grateful for things. Because I don't think I was grateful for high school, honestly, until COVID. And just kind of how things ended abruptly. And,
definitely.
Definitely. What about you, Eskridge? Do you have anything you want to add? I'm sorry for looking up here, by the way. I need to call. Like I've called the front desk of my thing, and there's it just pisses me off. There's so many bugs that come in here, and I just have to kill a bunch of them all the time. So I apologize for looking at like for here.
Hey, all good.
Do you have anything you want to add, Eskridge?
I'd say probably building off of what Kay says, like definitely like look towards the future for your goals and aspirations, but at the same time, enjoy the moment, whether it be, having fun, or whether it be the grind or even the struggles. Because I feel like at the end of the day, stuff like that, your struggles, the things you enjoy, are going to make you into the player that you are in the future. And not only that, the person you are in the future. And really just embrace whatever it is, especially the challenges, because those are going to give you a better perspective if you take them in a positive light, seeing that they're going to make you better, they're going to make you stronger mentally, hungrier. And then I'd say probably always work hard and never give up on yourself or your dream. I mean, that's probably something I tell myself when I was younger, you know, work hard, like, because there's always going to be someone working hard, always going to be someone hungrier, always going to be someone less talented who wants it more. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most, you know, the love, the passion, the drive. So yeah, I'd say just follow your heart, work hard, and embrace the moment.
Very well said, Julian. Very well said. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to kind of do this. Both of you guys both know that I have a ton of respect for you guys. I'm grateful for our relationships and friendships. Relationships, probably not the right word. Friendships, but yeah, no, thank you guys for coming on, and maybe we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, my pleasure, Pop. This was fun.
Of course, enjoyed it, brother. Enjoyed it.
I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I'm excited to do more episodes like this. Probably going to do a part 2 with Julian and Casey, just because we have so much to talk about. It's very general stuff. We can go into details about more stuff that we do on a daily basis. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.